If you wake up with a puffy face, tight rings, or deep sock marks around your ankles that take a long time to fade, it may be more than simple fatigue. Often it's a sign that your body's fluid and salt balance is drifting off rhythm, especially if your blood sugar or blood pressure tends to run high. Many people try to fix morning heaviness by taking strong shots of concentrated juices, very sweet drinks, or salty leftovers first thing on an empty stomach. But the empty stomach window is when your liver is finishing overnight cleanup, and your kidneys are rebalancing water and electrolytes. A sudden rush of sugar, salt, alcohol, or strong caffeine can push that system harder than it needs to be and make the day feel heavier. The goal is not extreme restriction. The goal is a gentler start. Calm the stomach, slow the first wave of absorption, and set up your meals, so your blood sugar rises more smoothly and your body lets go of extra water instead of holding it. One of the easiest tools for that is surprisingly ordinary cucumber. Cucumber is mostly water, but it also provides potassium and fiber in a form that fits into real life. Potassium supports a healthier sodium balance, and fiber helps slow the pace at which carbohydrates hit the bloodstream. Cucumber is not a miracle cure, and it does not replace medication, but it can be a practical front gate that changes meal order, portion size, and cravings without complicated rules. The first step is understanding edema in plain terms. Swelling is rarely caused by drinking too much water. More often it happens when sodium and hormones make the body hold on to water. Salty foods pull water into the bloodstream and also leave water in tissues, which is why a salty dinner can show up as morning puffiness. If blood pressure is high or blood sugar swings are frequent, blood vessels can become more irritated and less flexible, making swelling and heaviness easier to trigger. That's why the most effective approach is not just drink less or eat less. It's to reduce how long sodium stays in the system, reduce repeated spikes of sugar, and support circulation through small daily habits. Cucumber helps because it naturally fits into a better sequence. When you start a meal with rice, bread, noodles, or sweet drinks, glucose rises quickly, insulin surges, and then, a few hours later, energy often crashes and hunger returns. That pattern can lead to stronger cravings and more salt and sugar. Later in the day, when you start with water and a high-volume, high-fiber food, the meal slows down. Fullness arrives earlier. Portions shrink without a fight, and the glucose curve is often smoother. Here are 3 simple rules that make cucumber easier for most people. First, do not eat it ice-cold straight from the fridge in big bites. Second, start small rather than forcing a full cucumber right away. Third, do not treat cucumber as the whole meal, use it to guide the meal. With those 3 rules, most people can try it safely and see whether it fits their body. Now let's build a realistic day. In the morning, begin with lukewarm water. Very cold water can shock a sensitive stomach. After that, give your body a few minutes, wash your face, do a light stretch, or simply move around. Then, about 10 to 15 minutes before breakfast, chew a few slices of cucumber slowly. If a whole cucumber feels like too much, start with half or even less. Chewing matters. Blending it into a fast juice can reduce the fullness signal and can make it easier to overdo fruit or sweet add-ins. Slow chewing mixes the food with saliva, prepares the stomach, and helps the rest of breakfast arrive more gently. Avoid dipping cucumber in salt. If swelling and blood pressure are part of your concern, if you want flavor, a few drops of lemon or a small splash of vinegar can work. But if your stomach is sensitive, start plain. After the cucumber, begin breakfast with protein eggs, tofu, fish, yogurt without added sugar, or another simple option you tolerate well. Add vegetables next. Save rice, bread, or other starches for last, and keep the portions smaller. This order alone can reduce post-breakfast sleepiness and help the morning feel steadier. Cucumber is not a weapon that forces you to eat less. It's a helper that lets you feel satisfied with less starch. Lunch is where routines usually break, especially with eating out. The same principle still works. If the restaurant offers cucumber salad or a light vegetable side, take a few bites before you touch the rice or noodles. If cucumber isn't available, start with any vegetables, and then protein, and eat the starch last. The key is simply not beginning with the starch. Afternoon is the danger zone for blood sugar swings and salty cravings. This is where cucumber sticks can replace cookies, sweet coffee drinks, or bread. You can eat them plain, pair them with unsweetened yogurt, or add a very small amount of peanut butter for satiety. Keep portions modest because nut butters are calorie-dense. At dinner, many people struggle with cold raw cucumber, especially if they feel chilled easily. Warm versions count. Lightly blanch cucumber, add it to soup, sauté it briefly, or include it in a warm dish. The point is not perfection. The point is keeping the meal order, steady and lowering the speed of the meal. One caution: avoid a large amount right before bed. Cucumber can increase urination for some people, and broken sleep can disrupt blood sugar and blood pressure rhythms. Leave a couple of hours between dinner and sleep when possible. Should you eat the peel? The peel contains pigments and small nutrients, so keeping some peel is generally helpful if you can wash it well. If pesticide residue worries you, wash thoroughly under running water, and consider a brief soak in diluted vinegar water, then rinse again. If you still prefer, peel it in stripes rather than removing everything. Now, good pairings apples can add fiber and help fullness, but keep fruit portions modest. Unsweetened yogurt can be soothing and supports gut comfort for some people. Sesame or perilla seed powder adds flavor so you don't need salt. Tomato can add brightness, though it may irritate reflux in some people. Caution's a common habit is blending cucumber and carrot into a big smoothie. The bigger issue is not the exact enzyme story. It's that blending makes it easy to drink too much too fast, and then add fruit or sweeteners that spike sugar. If you want carrots, eat them cooked with meals, rather than in a large raw blended drink. Also, avoid sweet dressings and heavy sauces on cucumber. The purpose is to reduce sugar and salt, not hide them under a different name. How to choose and store cucumbers: pick ones that feel firm and heavy for their size, with intact ends and minimal bruising. Store them so they don't suffocate and so moisture doesn't pool. Wrapping each cucumber in paper towel and placing it in the vegetable drawer helps. Keep them away from some fruits that release ethylene gas, which can speed softening. Safety comes first. Cucumber is usually safe, but not for everyone in the same amount. If you have advanced kidney disease or you've been told to limit potassium, large daily cucumber portions may not be appropriate. If you take medications that affect fluid balance, be mindful of dizziness and discuss major diet changes with your clinician. If raw vegetables trigger diarrhea or stomach pain, start with room temperature. Cucumber, smaller amounts, or cooked versions. If the bitter end tastes strong, trim it generously. Bitterness can irritate some stomachs. Allergic reactions are rare but possible. Stop if you notice mouth itching, lip swelling, or throat discomfort. Remember, cucumber is a tool, not the whole strategy. To make the change real, connect it to a few simple habits. Reduce salty soups, sauces, and pickled sides, especially at night. Drink water in small amounts across the day rather than in one rush. Add gentle movement daily, like walking, so blood and fluid don't stagnate in the legs. Keep sleep consistent, because sleep loss amplifies cravings and destabilizes glucose. And choose stress relief that isn't sugar or salt. To make it easy, try a 3-month flow. In the first week, chew a small amount of cucumber before breakfast, and pay attention to comfort. In the second week, add the lunch order. Rule vegetables and protein first, starch last. In the third week, replace a few afternoon snacks with cucumber sticks. In the fourth week, include cucumber at dinner in a form your stomach tolerates, warm if needed. In the second month, check simple body signals weekly. Do sock marks fade faster? Do rings fit looser? Is afternoon sleepiness less intense? Is nighttime thirst lower? In the third month, refine salt habits: gradually less broth, fewer processed foods, smaller portions of very salty sides. Keep cucumber as the gatekeeper, not as the main dish. Common questions: how much is enough? Many adults do well with 1 to 2 medium cucumbers a day, but smaller bodies and sensitive stomachs may need less. What matters most is consistency and meal order, not hitting a number. Will this replace diabetes or blood pressure medication? No. Never stop or change medication on your own. The purpose is to support steadier patterns so that, over time, your care team may have more room to adjust safely if appropriate. Will it cause weight loss? Cucumber can help reduce overeating because it increases volume and slows the meal, but extreme cucumber diets are not recommended. Balance matters. If you miss a day, nothing is ruined. Just return to the order at the next meal. The best plan is the one you can repeat without stress. Now let's address the empty stomach traps directly. On an empty stomach, concentrated sweetness absorbs quickly and can load the liver and spike glucose. Very salty foods early can pull water into the system and worsen swelling. Alcohol on an empty stomach is harsh for the liver and destabilizes sugar. Strong coffee on an empty stomach can be too stimulating for some people, especially with syrups or sugar. Rather than moralizing, use a simple swap water first, then a few slow bites of something watery and fibrous, then protein, then starch. If you love coffee, keep it, but shift it later in the sequence. If you wake with no appetite, start with a tiny amount, 2 or 3 cucumber slices and a small protein bite, then build from there as your body adapts. The real power of this approach is that it changes speed. When speed changes, the glucose curve softens, cravings quiet down, salt intake tends to drop, sleep improves, and swelling often becomes less frequent. You don't need perfection. You need a direction. Lower the barriers by shaping your environment, keep cucumbers visible in the fridge, keep a cutting board ready, and put a small plate on the table. Habits are easier when the first step is already done. If you want a simple checkpoint, use 3 sentences, chew slowly before meals, cut back on salty liquids and sweet drinks, and move a little every day. If you can do only 2 things, do water in the morning and meal order at lunch. If you can do only one thing, do the cucumber before breakfast and chew it slowly. Watch for the small wins. Less puffiness, lighter legs, fewer afternoon crashes, calmer evenings. Those wins are the first signs that your body is shifting back toward balance. And if you notice sudden worsening swelling, shortness of breath, chest discomfort, very low urine output, or one-sided leg swelling with pain, do not rely on food tips. Seek medical care promptly. The safest health plan combines practical daily habits with proper evaluation. When warning signs appear, the conclusion is simple: start the day. Gently, slow the first bite, and let cucumber guide your meal order. It is ordinary, affordable, and easy to repeat. One small choice at one meal can change the rest of the day, and repeating that choice can change the way the next month feels. Start where you are, keep it comfortable, and let your body's signals guide the pace. Now let's make this even more practical by matching the approach to common daily situations. If your swelling is strongest in the morning, the previous evening usually matters more than the current morning. Heavy soup, salty side dishes, late snacks, and poor sleep can all raise the chance of waking up puffy. In that situation, cucumbers at breakfast help. But the bigger win is to make dinner lighter in salt. Replace one salty side with a cucumber-based side that uses vinegar, herbs, garlic, or sesame instead of salt. Reduce broth and sauce and stop eating at least a little before bedtime. If swelling builds later in the day, long sitting and uneven hydration are often part of it. Many people drink very little water through the morning, then drink a lot at once, then rely on coffee. That pattern can worsen leg heaviness. For afternoon swelling, spread water across the day, stand up regularly, and use the cucumber before lunch rule to reduce the salty and starchy impulse that follows a long morning. For people who feel heavy but don't visibly swell much, the issue may be glucose volatility. The body can feel sluggish when glucose rises and falls sharply, even without obvious puffiness. Cucumber works here because it slows the beginning of meals. But the biggest mistake is thinking cucumber gives permission to eat a large starch portion. If you chew cucumber first and then eat a large bowl of noodles quickly, the benefit will be small. Instead, keep the order and keep the starch modest. If you struggle to reduce rice or bread, don't fight. The food directly, change the container. Use a smaller bowl or plate. Serve the starch portion first, then do not refill. The visual boundary makes self-control easier. Another common question is about coffee. Some people tolerate coffee fine on an empty stomach. Others feel shaky, anxious, nauseated, or get sudden hunger. If you suspect coffee destabilizes you, don't start by quitting. Start by moving it. Drink water first. Chew cucumber or take a protein bite. Then drink coffee. If you need sweetness, try gradually reducing syrup or sugar, rather than cutting it overnight. The stomach and nervous system both respond better to stepwise change. If you have no appetite in the morning, forcing a whole raw cucumber may backfire. Use the micro start. 2 or 3 slices, chewed slowly, then a small protein piece, then stop. This tiny routine can be enough to lower the sharpness of the first carbohydrate later in the day. Over time, appetite often becomes more stable when glucose swings calm down. Let's talk about temperature, because it changes tolerance a lot. Cold raw cucumber can irritate a sensitive stomach. If you experience loose stools, cramping, or discomfort, adjust temperature first. Leave cucumber at room temperature for a while before eating. Slice it thinner. Chew more slowly. If symptoms persist, switch to a cooked form. Cucumber in soup, lightly sautéed cucumber, or briefly blanched. Cucumber can be surprisingly comfortable. The idea is not that cooking is better, but that comfort matters. A plan you can tolerate is the only plan you can repeat. Flavor without salt is another obstacle. Many people keep reaching for salt because it's fast and familiar. Replace salt with direction. Acid gives brightness, oils give smoothness, and aromatics give satisfaction. For example, thin cucumber slices with a small splash of vinegar, a few drops of sesame or perilla oil, garlic, and sesame seeds. Or diced cucumber with unsweetened yogurt, mint, and a pinch of black pepper. Or cucumber and tomato with olive oil and herbs. If you use soy sauce, dilute it heavily and keep the amount tiny. Remember the target salt reduction, not salt disguise. Let's also address storage and prep, because discipline fails when prep is annoying. If you can, buy cucumbers in a batch. Store them dry. Keep one cucumber ready to eat and keep the rest whole. If you want sticks for snacks, cut only what you'll eat within a day or two. Put a paper towel in the container and replace it if it becomes damp. Small systems beat big motivation. If you enjoy pickled flavors, avoid salty pickles. Make a quick vinegar pickle with diluted vinegar, water, garlic, pepper, and a little herb. Keep it mild so it doesn't irritate reflux. This gives you a snack that feels exciting without adding sodium. Now, combine the cucumber tool with circulation. When you sit for long periods, fluid pools in the lower legs. Cucumber won't fix that on its own. Add micro movement. Every hour, stand up and do heel raises. Roll your ankles. Walk to the kitchen and back. These small movements improve venous return and can reduce the feeling of heavy legs. After dinner, a short walk can also reduce post-meal glucose rise. You don't need intense exercise. You need regular movement. Next, hydration. People often swing between too little and too much. Drinking a very large amount at once can lead to frequent urination and then dehydration later. Instead, sip water across the day. If you have heart failure or a condition that requires fluid restriction, follow your clinician's guidance. Do not force extra water. For most people without restrictions, spreading water. Intake helps kidneys work more smoothly and reduces the urge for salty foods. Sleep deserves its own section. Poor sleep raises stress hormones, increases cravings, and can elevate blood pressure and glucose. If you eat salty or sweet foods at night, thirst increases, sleep becomes lighter, and the next day starts puffy and tired. That's why the 2 hours before bed boundary is powerful. Stop eating early enough that your stomach can settle. If you need something small, choose a light protein or a few cucumber slices, rather than a salty snack. Now let's map out a simple menu framework you can rotate without boredom. Morning option 1, water, cucumber slices, eggs, a vegetable side, a small portion of rice. Morning option 2, water, cucumber, unsweetened yogurt with a small handful of nuts, then a small slice of whole grain bread if desired. Morning option 3, for low appetite, water, a few cucumber slices, tofu bites, then stop. Lunch framework: start with vegetables, then protein, then starch. If you're eating noodles, eat the toppings first, then the noodles slowly and stop before the bowl is empty if you can. Snack framework: cucumber sticks plus a small protein or fat source. Dinner framework: warm vegetables, protein, starch last and smaller. Add cucumber in the form you tolerate. Use this framework rather than a strict meal plan. Frameworks are more flexible and therefore more sustainable. Let's expand the safety notes with clearer who should be cautious. If you have significant kidney impairment, potassium management matters. Cucumbers contain potassium, and while the amount is not as high as some foods daily, large portions could matter for someone with restricted excretion. If you have been told your potassium is high or you are on a potassium-restricted diet, treat cucumber as a garnish, not a main daily tool, and ask your care team about safe portions. If you take diuretics or blood pressure medication, sudden dietary changes can alter fluid status and blood pressure. Pay attention to dizziness on standing, unusual weakness, or symptoms of low blood sugar. If you use insulin or certain diabetes medications, dietary improvements are great, but medication adjustments must be supervised. If you have irritable bowel symptoms, raw vegetables can trigger bloating. In that case, choose cooked cucumber, small servings, and slower changes. If you have reflux, strong vinegar or citrus may irritate. Keep acid, minimal, or skip it. Now, a deeper look at the why in everyday language. When sodium is high, water follows sodium. The body holds water to keep concentration safe. Potassium supports balance by encouraging the body to handle sodium more effectively. But it's not magic. The biggest benefit is behavioral cucumber helps you start a meal with volume and water, which can reduce how much salty food you seek afterward. Fiber slows digestion, which can flatten the glucose curve. A flatter curve often means fewer cravings and less stress on blood vessels. Over time, this can support better vascular comfort, lighter legs, less throbbing, calmer energy. You may also notice that when you reduce salt and sugar, your sense of taste changes. Foods begin to taste naturally sweeter and more flavorful. That makes it easier to keep going. Let's troubleshoot the top 5 reasons people quit. Reason 1. It upset my stomach. Fix reduce cold, reduce quantity, and switch to cooked forms. Reason 2, it's bland. Fix add herbs, mild acid, aromatics, and small amounts of healthy oils. Reason 3, Fix put cucumbers in the front of the fridge and prep 1 cucumber at a time. Reason 4, eating out makes it impossible. Fix use the order principle even without cucumber. Reason 5, I didn't see results quickly. Fix measure the right things. Swelling and energy can change in days or weeks, but deeper markers may take longer. Look for small signals: sock marks, rings, thirst, afternoon crashes, and sleep quality. Also remember that one salty meal can temporarily reverse progress. That does not mean the approach failed. It means your body is responsive. Another helpful tool is a tiny weekly check-in. Once a week, answer 4 questions. Do my socks leave less of a mark? Do my rings feel looser? Do I have fewer afternoon crashes? Do I wake with less thirst? If the answers gradually shift toward yes, you're moving in the right direction. If answers worsen or you feel unwell, adjust the plan and consider evaluation. Now for motivation without pressure. Health habits fail when they feel like punishment. Make the habit light. Treat cucumber as a signal rather than a rule. When you see cucumber on your plate, you remember to slow down. When you slow down, you make better decisions without willpower. Keep the goal small: 1 gentle breakfast start, then 1 lunch order, then 1 snack swap. Your body learns through repetition, not intensity. Finally, a clear wrap-up you can remember. Start the morning with water. Put cucumber before the meal and chew slowly. Begin meals with protein and vegetables and eat starch last and smaller. Reduce salty liquids and sweet drinks. Move a little each day. Sleep consistently. Use cucumber as an easy gatekeeper, not as a miracle. If you do this comfortably and steadily, your days can feel lighter and more stable. And if you ever see warning signs: rapid worsening swelling, breathing difficulty, chest pain, very low urine output, or one-sided painful swelling, get medical help promptly. Ordinary foods can support health, but they should never delay care. When the body is sending urgent signals, start with 1 small change today. Repeat it tomorrow and let the momentum build. To keep things fresh, here are more cucumber ideas that stay aligned with the goal. Low sodium, low added sugar, slower eating. 1 crunch plate cucumber slices with cherry tomatoes and a few pieces of plain cheese or tofu. 2 soft bowl warm miso-style soup with lightly cooked cucumber, mushrooms, and tofu, using a smaller amount of paste so sodium stays modest. 3 cool spoon diced cucumber mixed into unsweetened yogurt with dill or mint. Eat it with a spoon before a meal. 4 simple stir cucumber cut into thicker pieces, briefly sautéed with garlic and a small amount of oil, finish with sesame seeds. 5 lazy salad cucumber plus leafy greens with olive oil and lemon skip sugary dressings. 6 travel snack cucumber sticks in a container, plus a small packet of unsalted nuts. This prevents the "I was hungry, so I bought pastry" moment. 7 rice helper if you love rice. Put cucumber and vegetables down first, eat them slowly, then have rice. The rice will taste just as good, but you'll often need less. 8 tea time reset. If afternoon cravings hit, drink water, chew cucumber sticks, then wait a few minutes before deciding on anything sweet. The craving often drops once the stomach is less empty. Now let's clarify a common misunderstanding about detox. People sometimes hear that cucumber flushes toxins, and then they try to overdo it. Your liver and kidneys already do detox work every day. What you can do is make their job smoother. Avoid sudden spikes of sugar and salt, support hydration appropriately, and maintain regular movement and sleep. Cucumber supports that by helping you start meals gently and reduce the need for salty sauces. But more is not always better. If you overeat cucumber, you may get bloating or diarrhea, and then the habit collapses. The best dose is the one that keeps you comfortable and consistent. Another misunderstanding is confusing less food with better control. Skipping meals can backfire for many people. Long fasting windows can raise stress hormones and can lead to bigger overeating later. If your morning sugar is high, the solution is often not skipping breakfast. It's improving breakfast order and balance. Cucumber can help you do that without feeling restricted. Let's also mention blood pressure in simple terms. When sodium load is high and fluid retention increases, blood pressure tends to rise. A steadier meal pattern, reduced salt intake, and daily movement can support more stable pressure. Potassium-rich foods may help some people, but potassium is not a free pass if kidney function is limited. So the priority remains reduce salty liquids and processed foods. Slow the meal and move daily. For blood sugar, the concept is similar. The faster the carbohydrate hits, the sharper the peak. Fiber, protein, and fat before starch slow absorption. Cucumber provides water and fiber and encourages you to build the meal correctly. If you want a one-page do this, not that guide, here it is. Do water first in the morning, chew cucumber slowly before meals start. Meals with protein. Add vegetables. Eat starch, last choose unsweetened drinks. Keep sauces light, walk after meals when possible. Keep bedtime consistent. Not that sweet drinks, first thing salty broth as the main meal. Large blended smoothies with fruit and sweeteners, salty dipping sauces. Eating starch first and fast late-night salty snacks, sitting for hours without movement. If you're caring for an older family member, the approach can be framed as comfort rather than control. Offer cucumber as a small starter, not as a lecture. Make it easy to chew. Serve room temperature or cooked forms if needed. Pair it with protein that is familiar. Reduce salt gradually so taste can adapt. Celebrate small improvements, less swelling, better sleep, calmer afternoons. The emotional tone matters. Pressure creates resistance, comfort creates repetition. And repetition is what changes outcomes. Finally, a gentle closing reminder: your body doesn't demand perfection. It responds to patterns. When you change the first bite of the day, you often change the rest of the day. When you repeat that change, the next week feels different. When you keep it comfortable, the next month becomes easier. Use cucumber as a simple gatekeeper and let your own signals, swelling, thirst, energy, sleep, tell you how to adjust. Start small, stay safe, and keep going. If you want an even simpler starter, plan to follow without overthinking. Use this sequence. Day 1, water in the morning, cucumber before breakfast, and no sweet drink before noon. Day 2, keep day 1 and add the lunch order rule. Day 3, keep day 1 and day 2 and add one short walk, even indoors. Day 4, keep everything and swap one afternoon snack for cucumber sticks. Day 5, keep everything and reduce salty broth at dinner. Day 6, keep everything and set a bedtime boundary so you stop eating earlier. Day 7, review how you feel, not just what you ate. Then repeat the week, adjusting only what was uncomfortable. This step-by-step build prevents the all-or-nothing crash. And please remember, tips like these are supportive habits, not diagnosis. If you have persistent swelling, foamy urine, rapidly changing weight, frequent shortness of breath, or new chest symptoms, the right next step is proper evaluation. Food choices can help, but they should never become a reason to delay care. Keep it gentle, keep it repeatable, and let small daily actions do the heavy lifting. One last thing, make the habit visible. Put cucumbers where your eyes land first when you open the fridge. Keep a clean knife and cutting board ready. Use a small plate so the starter feels normal. When you remove friction, you remove the need for willpower. Over time, your taste buds adapt, your meals slow down, and the body often stops clinging to water as tightly. The end goal isn't eating cucumber forever. The end goal is a steadier rhythm, lighter mornings, calmer afternoons, and nights with less thirst and better sleep. Start with one meal, then one day, then 1 week. Your body notices patterns and it responds. If you share meals with others, invite them into the order rather than the rule. Let's start with cucumber and vegetables. First is easier than you must eat less. When the whole table slows down, everyone benefits: less overeating, less reflux, fewer crashes. And if you miss a day, treat it like a normal part of life. Return to the sequence at the next meal. Health is built from returns, not from perfection. Keep it simple: water first, cucumber first, chew slowly, protein and vegetables next, starch last. Repeat gently. Thank you for staying to the end. Start with a few slices tomorrow morning. Keep it comfortable, and let the small improvements guide your next step. You can do this one calm meal at a time.